The girl accidentally fell into a strange stretch of water. When she woke up, she found herself in the beast market, living as the character in the book, the notorious and wicked empress. What shocked her even more was that not only had she given birth to 4 snake hatchlings, but there was also a handsome snake companion by her side. Yet, the original owner had heartlessly abandoned this top-tier hunk, and even sold off 2 of the cubs. It turns out she came from a post-apocalyptic world and crossed over due to an explosion. In this world, the girl dizzily opened her eyes and vaguely heard someone speaking. It was the original owner's 2 snake cubs, Beiji and Shiching. She struggled to sit up, her hand touching a wound so deep the bone was visible, but then it vanished. She looked at the 2 cubs in front of her, totally confused. What's going on? Who are you? She stood up and walked toward the 2 cubs. Don't come any closer. The little gray-green one suddenly raised a rock. Don't you dare. Hit us again. We aren't afraid of you. Seeing this, the little white snake stepped forward. Before he could finish, he was pulled back by the little green snake. Beiji, stay back. That evil female must be faking it. The sharp pain in the back of her head made the girl's vision go dark. She couldn't help but raise her voice. Make yourself clear. Who exactly am I? Where on earth is this? Intimidated by her presence, Beiji mumbled out her name. You are Cian. Cian? That name struck like a bolt of lightning. She suddenly remembered a worn-out novel from the apocalypse about a woman who abused her own snake cubs and was eventually tortured to death by her grown children. That wicked supporting character was named Cian. You are that dirty, smelly, and ugly evil female. Shiching's angry shout dragged her back to reality. Dirty, smelly, and ugly? Cian instinctively touched her face as more terrifying memories flooded in. In the book, these 4 snake cubs were future villains who would turn the world upside down. And the original owner was tortured to death by these 2 little ones, along with the 2 who hadn't shown up yet. So these 2 tiny things, no bigger than a palm, were the ones who would eventually take her life. She softened her voice and opened her arms. Sweeties, don't be scared. Mommy wants to give you a hug. The 2 little snakes were so terrified they nearly wet themselves. Shiching grabbed a rock and threw it at her. You're trying to trick us again. Die, you wicked woman. The rock hit her head dead on. The sharp pain made Cian's temper flare. You too, little brats. Her fierce expression filled the cubs with dread. Seeing this, Cian choked back the scolding on the tip of her tongue. She remembered what happened to the children every time the original owner got angry. Her rage cooled instantly. Her eyes welled up. I won't hit you. I promise. The 2 little ones bolted immediately. The only response was the howling wind outside the cave. Now that she was stuck as a hated villainess, she was in for a rough life. She raised her hand, and a golden light glowed in her palm. Great. My powers crossed over with me. Looking around the cave, there was only moldy straw and broken pots. The original owner couldn't even feed herself. Stepping out of the cave, massive ancient trees blocked the sun. The air was thick with primitive energy, and beasts roared in the distance. This is the world of beast men, and her top priority was to survive alongside 4 snake cubs who hated her guts. As the sunset reddened the horizon, the 2 cubs still hadn't returned. Cian grabbed a branch and ran out. Beiji, Shiching, stop shouting. Do you want to attract predators? Shiching darted out from behind a tree. Cian was fuming. You 2 little troublemakers, come back with me, little troop. But we are snake cubs. Snake cubs. The 2 looked confused, having no idea what a troublemaker was. Cian laughed and explained it meant those long-eared beasts they'd seen. Shiching's lips curled into a smirk. He lied to Cian, saying there was a dead long-eared beast in the woods. Cian got excited and asked where it was. She was desperate for some meat. Shiching ran toward the dense forest, and Beiji followed. Glancing back, Cian followed eagerly, not noticing Shiching's wicked grin. Third brother, where's the beast? Beiji whispered. I tricked her. Shiching smiled like a mischievous cat. Leave her here for the wild animals. The 2 led Cian into the dark forest and suddenly ditched her. Go find your long-eared beast yourself. Cian realized she'd been played and stomped her feet in anger, whether in her past life or this one. The thing she hated most was snakes. Looks like earning those 2 cubs' trust was going to be a long, uphill battle. Just as she was about to head back, she heard a rustling behind her. A beast larger than a water buffalo pounced from behind. She quickly carried the hide back to the cave. The bird beast leapt down and shifted into human form. He picked up a piece of the leftover roast meat and took a bite. Oh my god, this female can not only hunt, but her cooking is also top tier. Too bad she's so ugly. Cian returned to the cave in a huff, only to see Beiji and Shiching huddling in the corner. You 2 little troublemakers, get up. The 2 cubs huddled closer in fear. What do you want now? Both of you. Get into bed and sleep. Sleep in the bed? The 2 little guys were stunned. The original owner never allowed them near her bed. They always had to curl up in the cold corner. Hurry up. Seeing them frozen, Cian grabbed them one by one and plopped them onto the straw pile. Shiching shivered at her sudden closeness. You evil female. Did you lose your mind? You keep calling me an evil female, but I'm your mother. Address me properly. Cian put on a stern face. And why did you trick me into the forest? Shiching argued back. That was a safe zone. You must have taken a wrong turn yourself. Cian paused. She actually believed the nonsense since she had no sense of direction. She snorted. Even so, you shouldn't have just left me there. I'm punishing you. The 2 were so scared they nearly wet themselves again, but Cian only made them sleep on the bed. Cian lay down herself and was soon breathing steadily in sleep. Beiji looked at the sleeping Cian and whispered, maybe the ugly female isn't that bad. I'm sorry. He reached out. Just as he was about to touch her, Shiching smacked his hand away. You traitor. Why are you apologizing to her? Watch out or she'll wake up and kick us both out. The two looked at their sleeping mother, none of them realizing the soul in this body had already changed. They quietly snuck out of the cave and vanished into the night. The next day, Si-Yin woke up to an empty cave. Those brats ran off again. Being a mom is hard. As she sighed, she heard shouting and crying outside. She rushed out to see a fat female, grabbing Beiji and Shiching by the hair, yelling, "You little runts. Stealing." Female grabbed the little snake's hair and started scratching wildly. "Stop it." Si-Yin rushed over and shielded the children behind her. The fat female cursed at her. "You ugly female. Since when do you care about your own runts?" The sun must have risen from the west. Si-Yin didn't waste words and grabbed the fat female's hair. The two cubs took the chance to hide behind a tree, unable to believe their eyes. Si-Yin wanted to prove herself to the cubs. She gripped the fat woman's hair and shouted, "They didn't steal anything. Impossible. I only left for a moment and my red emperor fruit was gone." The cubs looked innocent. Si-Yin let go of the fat female and turned to find the real thief. She went to the scene and used her powers to scout for clues. A faint scent of sweet potato lingered in the air. Out of the corner of her eye, she found footprints left by the thief. She followed them to some bushes and sure enough, she saw a few bear cubs secretly munching on sweet potatoes. Seeing this, the fat female rushed up and snatched the cubs, giving them a good beating. Now that the truth was out and the real thief caught, Si-Yin told the fat female to apologize to the snake cubs, but the woman looked dismissive and flat out refused. Si-Yin stepped forward and punched her square in her big belly. The fat female collapsed, wailing, "My fruit is gone and you punched me. Why should I apologize?" Si-Yin gave her another punch. "Stop whining. Apologize now or I'll turn your face into a pulp." The fat woman was terrified and bowed repeatedly. "I'm sorry. I was wrong." She scrambled up and ran faster than a rabbit. The two cubs were so scared they wet themselves again. "So scary. Maybe we should run too." They were about to bolt when Si-Yin appeared in front of them. "Where do you two think you're going?" Their fangs were chattering with fear. They thought for sure they wouldn't escape a beating this time. Back at the cave, Si-Yin started a fire and roasted meat. The little guys never expected that not only would she not hit them, but she also knew how to use fire. Shiching's jaw dropped as he muttered, "Is she possessed or something?" Once the meat was ready, Si-Yin offered it to them, but they turned their heads away and ungratefully said, "No way. Who knows if it's poisoned? Suit yourselves." Si-Yin turned away in frustration. The cubs acted tough, but their eyes were glued to the meat as they swallowed hard. Eventually, they couldn't resist and started devouring it. Just then, Si-Yin walked in carrying a log. The two quickly wiped the grease from their mouths. Shiching saw Si-Yin staring at the log and asked, "Hey, evil female. What are you doing?" "I want She drew a few lines on her face, disguising herself as an ugly woman to hide her original beauty. Just then, Beiji clutched his stomach and started crying. Si-Yin asked what was wrong. The little white snake buried his head in her arms. "Mommy, I think I'm dying." Si-Yin's heart tightened. "You're not going to die. What's going on?" It turned out the little white snake found worms in his poop. One look and Si-Yin understood. All the beastmen here eat raw meat and drink raw water, so having parasites is normal. She immediately carried Beiji to find the witch doctor. The little white snake blinked his teary eyes, feeling that his mother had truly changed. Before long, they found the witch doctor. Si-Yin urgently asked for medicine. The witch doctor looked confused. "What's up with her? Bringing those snake cubs around and dressed so weirdly?" The doctor said he couldn't cure it and told them to beat it. Si-Yin dropped to her knees with a thud. "As long as you cure him, I'll pay any amount of hides." The doctor sighed. "It's not that I don't want to help. There's only one way to cure this worm sickness, and that's to break through the filter." Si-Yin's heart sank, but looking at the innocent cub, she vowed to find a way. While she was lost in thought, a handsome beastman walked up to her. "Beautiful female, would you be my mate?" The wolfman asked her to be his mate, but in response, she gave him a hard slap across the face. Si-Yin left with the cubs, looking disgusted. She was thinking of plans to treat the roundworms when she had a sudden brain blast. Pumpkin seeds. They have healing properties. She asked the cubs where to find pumpkins. Once she found the spot, she harvested a huge basket. The two snakes were puzzled. The witch doctor couldn't even cure this. Could this wicked female really have a way? Si-Yin shared the boiled pumpkin. The white snake didn't hesitate and downed it. Shiching saw everyone eating and forced himself to swallow it. A few minutes later, all three of them ran off to do their business. Rubbing his belly, Beiji felt much better. Si-Yin looked proud, but Shiching just pouted. It was definitely just a fluke. Si-Yin picked the little guy up. "Fluke or not, let's get your butts cleaned first." Later, Si-Yin took the remaining seeds and planted them in the yard. The two little snakes were full of questions. Can they really grow like that? Si-Yin was confident. Maybe not for others, but definitely for me. She waved her hand, and a pumpkin on the ground zoomed right into her hand. The snake's eyes nearly popped out. How can you control plants? Are you a priest? Shoo, this is our secret. Only you guys know, so keep it quiet. They nodded, promising not to tell. Night fell quickly. Cian made a curtain out of straw to block the wind. Beiji kept praising how smart Mommy was. Only Shiqing felt conflicted. Beiji tried to pull him to bed, but he was shoved away. Cian glared and told him to get in bed, but the stubborn little snake refused. Fine, suit yourself. Sleep on the floor then. Cian huffed and lay down. Shiqing curled up in the corner and eventually fell asleep. Cian opened her eyes, walked over to the little green snake, and carried him to the bed, muttering, "What a weird habit, sleeping on the floor when there's a bed." The next morning, Cian boiled pumpkin porridge for them, saying the worm's sickness would be gone in a couple of days. This time, Shiqing didn't hesitate and gulped it down. Beiji asked for another bowl. Cian then remembered the other 2 cubs sold by the original owner. Beiji wanted to bring them food. She readily agreed and packed 2 portions in leaves. The 2 snakes ran off with the food. Soon, they reached the place where the other 2 cubs were. Inside the cave, a female was lounging on a stone bench, ordering the males to bully the cubs. One cub tried to fight back, but got a brutal kick. The snakes outside were furious and signaled to those inside. The 2 slipped out, and Beiji offered them the food Cian made. But hearing it was from Cian, the cub immediately pushed it back. "I don't want anything from that evil woman," Beiji asked Shiqing to help convince them. Shiqing said the food had nothing to do with her. The 2 cubs hesitated, but eventually couldn't resist and started devouring it. Beiji was heartbroken. "Big brother, your arm is broken, and they're still making you work?" Before he could finish, a large log was thrown at them. A mean female rushed up yelling and glared at Beiji and Shiqing. "Since you brothers are so close, maybe I should have that ugly female sell you 2 as well." Shiqing stepped up to protect his brothers, but was met with a hard slap. The little guys couldn't fight back at all. The wicked woman screamed at them and told people to lock them up. No matter how hard they struggled, it was useless. A fat woman passing by saw this, and immediately they found the slave contract, and the fat bear shoved it in front of Cian's face for her to see clearly. Cian saw that it was indeed an indenture for the 2 snake cubs and immediately used her powers to change the text. "Fat bear, are you illiterate? This isn't a slave contract. It's a work contract." The wicked female was stunned. Seeing the slave contract somehow turn into a work contract, she was fuming. She crushed the contract in her hand and ordered her mates to kill Cian. Cian pulled out her dagger, ready to fight. Everyone stop. At the critical moment, the witch doctor and the chief walked in. Cian immediately complained. "Chief, I just want to take back my cubs. Their work contract has expired, but this fat bear refuses to let them go." The fat bear was so angry. She nearly wet herself. These 2 cubs were clearly slaves you sold to me." Cian challenged her to show proof. The fat bear stood frozen, speechless. Cian struck while the iron was hot. "Chief, she used 2 hides to hire my cubs for 10 days. Now she's lying and calling it slavery." Cian even put on a pitiful act. The wicked female was completely defeated by her acting. The chief told the fat bear to return the cubs, but she protested, saying snake beast men were born to be slaves. The chief told her to shut up and release them. Just then, a beast man rushed in. "Mistress, this is bad. Our salt is gone." The fat bear's heart skipped a beat. Shiqing whispered, "It's over. The whole bear tribe won't survive this." The wicked female pointed at Cian, screaming that she stole it. Cian spat in disgust, accusing the fat bear of slander. The wicked female ordered a body search. Cian refused and asked the chief for justice. The chief asked what? She proposed. "If I don't have her family's salt, I demand 2 hides in compensation and a formal apology." The wicked female also made a demand. "If I find salt on you, all 4 of your cubs belong to me." Beiji wanted to bite her, but Shiqing held him back, shaking his head to tell him not to be impulsive. Cian readily agreed and stepped up to the fat bear. "But I won't let this pig touch me. It's disgusting." The wicked female was speechless. Cian only let the chief and the doctor search her, while secretly storing the salt in her space. The doctor searched her thoroughly but couldn't find a single trace of salt. Yet, the wicked female still insisted it was on her. "Enough," the chief roared, telling the fat bear to fulfill her promise. Cian warned her not to back out. She wanted every hide. The woman had no choice but to hand them over. Cian took the hides and left with all 4 cubs. The injured Dongxi was limping. Seeing this, Cian stopped. "Wait here for a second." She took the hides to exchange for medicine from the doctor, then rushed back to Dongxi. "Can you walk?" The little snake instinctively backed away, silent and hesitant. Cian sighed helplessly and picked him up. The cub looked on in disbelief, thinking she was going to hurt him. He struggled. Let go of me. I don't want you to hold me, evil female. Xian told him to stay still, but he bit her. Seeing him still struggling, Xian lifted him up. If you keep moving, your leg will be ruined. I don't care. The stubborn cub bared his fangs. Xian had to put him down. His body swayed uncontrollably, and the next second, he collapsed. Ignoring the pain in her arm, Xian gently picked him up. Back at the cave, as Xian bandaged the other cub's wounds, he dazed. The Xian before him was nothing like the bitter woman in his memory. Rushing to the rescue, he let out a roar that shook the sky. Stop right there. He quickly reached the scene and shielded the little snake cubs behind him. The nasty female approached and threw a hide at Xian. She thought he was still the same old Xian, someone who would sell his own children for a single beast hide. To her surprise, Xian snapped. He lunged forward and punched the fat bear beast. Seeing how powerful Xian had become, she didn't dare fight back. She could only hurl insults. You unwanted, ugly thing. How dare you hit me? Xian shot back fiercely, you fat bear. So what if you have many males? I may only have one, but I have 4 cubs. Hearing her own partners criticizing her, the fat bear was so angry she started grinding. She turned her frustration toward the little snakes. Snake beastmen cubs are born to be despised. I was teaching them a lesson for you. You should thank me. Shut up. Xian barked. He dashed in front of the fat bear, but she just looked at him with disdain. It turned out the original owner had sold 2 little snakes to her and signed a slavery contract. Xian wasn't about to admit that so easily. Talk is cheap. Where's the proof? The black bear led him into the cave to get it. Mother, it is dangerous. Beiji worried. It was a trap. The little snake who had been sold by the original owner looked on in disbelief. Beiji, what did you call her? Does she even deserve that? After spending the last few days together, the little white snake had slowly begun to accept Xian. Xian followed the fat bear into the cave and spotted a jar of salt on a cabinet in the corner. While the fat bear wasn't looking, he snuck over. Using his powers, he stole all the salt. He thought to himself, since this fat bear dared to bully my cubs, she is going to pay. They found the little snakes. Slavery contract. The fat bear held the contract up to Xian's face so he could see it clearly. Xian saw that it was indeed a bill of sale for the 2 little snakes and immediately used his powers to change the text. Fat bear, can't you read? This isn't a slavery contract. It is a work contract. The nasty female was stunned to see the contract change. She was so furious she saw red and crushed the contract in her hand. She ordered her partners to kill Xian. Xian pulled out a dagger, ready for a fight. Everyone stop. At the critical moment, the witch doctor and the village head walked in. Xian immediately complained. Village head, I only wanted to take back my cubs. Their work contract has expired, but this fat bear refuses to let them go. The fat bear was so angry she nearly lost it. You. These 2 cubs were clearly sold to me as slaves. Xian demanded proof. The fat bear was suddenly speechless and stood frozen. On the spot, Xian struck while the iron was hot, accusing the nasty fat bear. Village head, back then she used 2 beast hides to hire my cubs for 10 days of work. Now she is trying to claim it was a slavery contract. Xian even put on a pitiful act. The nasty female was completely defeated by his acting. The village head told the fat bear to return the 2 little snakes to Xian, but the nasty female refused to accept it, saying snake beastmen were meant to be slaves. The village head told her to shut up and release the cubs immediately. Just then, a beastman came running in. Chief, this is bad. Our salt is gone. The fat bear's heart skipped a beat. She muttered to herself that it was over. Now, the whole bear tribe wouldn't survive. The nasty female pointed at Xian and screamed, insisting he stole the salt. Xian spat on the ground and accused the fat bear of lying. The nasty female ordered a body search. Xian firmly refused and asked the village head for justice. The village head asked him what he wanted to do. If I don't have their salt on me, I demand the fat bear compensate me with 2 beast hides and an apology. The nasty female also made a demand. If I find the salt on you, all 4 of your cubs belong to me. Beiji wanted to rush up and bite her, but Xiqing held him back. Xiqing shook his head, telling him not to be impulsive. Xian readily agreed and stepped up to the fat bear. But I won't let a pig like you touch me. It's disgusting. You. The nasty female was left speechless. Xian only allowed the village head and witch doctor to search him while secretly storing the salt in his pocket dimension. The witch doctor searched every inch of him but couldn't find a single trace of salt. However, the nasty female still wouldn't give up, certain the salt was on him. Enough. With a loud shout, the village head told the fat bear to fulfill her promise. Xian told her not to even think about backing out. I want every single hide. The nasty female had no choice but to hand them over. Clutching the free beast hides, Xian walked away coolly with his 4 cubs. The injured Dongxi was limping. Seeing this, Xian stopped. Wait here for a second. He took the hides to the witch doctor. You think you can still walk back to Dongxi like this? The little snake recoils instinctively. Niaru remains tight-lipped. Xian sighs helplessly and scoops Dongxi up in her arms. Stunned, the little snake suspects she's up to no good and struggles wildly. Let me go? I don't want you holding me, you witch. Xian tells him to stay still, but he bites her. As he keeps struggling, she hoists him up. You. Keep moving, and your leg will be ruined. I don't care. The stubborn little snake bares his fangs at her. Xian has no choice but to set him down. His body wobbles uncontrollably. The next second, he collapses to the ground with a thud. Ignoring the pain in her arm, Cyan gently carries him back to the cave. As Cyan bandages the other little snake's wounds, he stares at her in a daze. The Cyan before him is a world apart from the cruel woman in his memories. Nearby, the other little snake wakes up screaming in pain, his face contorted. Cyan fears any further delay and asks Xiqing to draw the curtain. She decides to use her powers to set Dongxi's broken leg. The young ones watch in awe. They've never seen anything so magical. Wood element spirits are summoned to help. Cyan asks how long his arm has been broken. The little snake purses his lips and refuses to answer. She turns to Beiji, who says it's been 15 days. Cyan's heart sinks. The window for treatment has passed. Even if it heals, it will be crooked. She grits her teeth and decides to perform the bone setting herself. You witch. Don't touch me. The little snake snaps. Xiqing asks what bone setting is. Cyan explains it means realigning dislocated bones. Dongxi trembles in fear, thinking she's trying to torture him. Cyan takes his arm. Mom is just trying to fix your arm. If you hate me, you can use this very hand to hit me in the future. Okay. The little snake hesitated. Cyan remembered that this cub held the deepest grudge against the original owner, even killing her with his own hands once. He decided to heal him first and slowly dissolve his hostility. So, he gagged the little snake's mouth and forced the bone back into place. Dream on, Dongxi. Even if you hate me, you won't be able to kill me in this life. With a loud crack, Dongxi bit down hard and fainted a moment later. Beiji worried he wouldn't wake up. Cyan comforted him, saying as long as he doesn't get a fever tonight, he will pull through. The next day, Cyan returned with a basket of fruits and vegetables. Suddenly, the white snake's cries came from behind. Beiji rushed over in a panic. Mother, big brother is gone. Cyan let out a long sigh, leaving me even with broken limbs. What a good son. He let ManhWa stay home to recover and told Beiji and Xiqing to find Dongxi. He knew that if he went himself, even if he found him, Dongxi wouldn't come back. Just then, the chubby female came to the door, saying the village head wanted everyone to gather. Cyan asked what happened. The sacred fire has gone out. Everyone is acting like they've lost their souls. Cyan fell into thought. This world hasn't reached a point where making fire is easy. The sacred fire is the tribe's only source of fire, the very fountain of life. He asked where the previous fire came from. The chubby female looked shocked. You don't know? The sacred fire is a gift from the great divine beast. Once the fire is out, the tribe is doomed. Seeing Cyan's calm face, the chubby female couldn't help but lecture him as she angrily led him to the meeting point. At the gathering, Cyan immediately spotted the nasty, low-life fat bear. He looked around and noticed that every female had a partner. He thought to himself, it seems having no male around me makes me an outlier here. As he was thinking, a handsome wolf beast suddenly jumped in front of him. The wolf had noticed him since he arrived. The village head saw right through him and teased, Tyson, do you want to be Cyan's male? The young wolf beast's face turned bright red. Third ant, don't talk nonsense. The village head's face darkened. The whole tribe knows. You were rejected when you tried to court Cyan. The young wolf scratched his head awkwardly. The little snake nearby suddenly woke up from the pain. His face was contorted in agony. Cyan worried that any more delay would be dangerous. She told Xiqing to pull the curtain, deciding to use her powers to reset Dongxi's broken leg. The little snakes were all wide-eyed and speechless. They'd never seen such a miracle. Cyan summoned her plant powers to help, then asked, how long has Dongxi's arm been broken? The little snakes kept their mouths shut. She had to ask Beiji instead. Beiji said, Dongxi's arm had been broken for 15 days. Cyan's heart sank. The window for treatment had passed. It would grow back crooked. She gritted her teeth, deciding to take the risk and set the bone herself. Get lost. Don't touch me. The snake snapped. Xiqing asked pathologically what's setting a bone? Cyan explained. It means putting the displaced bone back in place and fixing it. Dongxi was terrified, trembling all over, thinking she was going to torture him. Cyan grabbed his arm. Mom just wants to fix your arm. If you hate me, you can use this hand to hit me later. Okay. Hearing this, the little snake wavered. Cyan remembered this kid. Hated her original self the most. He even killed her in the past. She'd heal him first, then slowly dissolve his hostility. She stuffed the snake's mouth and forced the bone back. Dongxi, stop dreaming. Even if you hate me, you won't be able to kill me in this life. With a loud crack, Dongxi bit down hard and blacked out the next second. Beiji worried he wouldn't wake up. Cyan comforted him. As long as he doesn't get a fever tonight, he'll pull through. The next day, Cyan returned with a basket of fruit and veggies. Suddenly, the white snake's howl echoed. Beiji rushed over in a panic. Mom, big brother is gone. Cyan sighed, leaving even with broken limbs. What a good son. She left ManhWa to recover and told Beiji and Xiqing to find Dongxi. She knew that if she went herself, Dongxi wouldn't come back even if found. Just then, Fat Xiqing showed up, saying the chief wanted everyone to gather. Cyan asked what was wrong. The sacred fire went out. Everyone is devastated. Cyan fell into thought. This world wasn't at a point where they could just make fire whenever. The sacred fire was the tribe's only source, the fountain of life. She asked where the previous one came from. Fat Xiqing was shocked. You don't know? The sacred fire is a gift from the great divine beast. Once it's gone, the tribe is doomed. Seeing Cyan's calm face, Fat Xixing couldn't help but lecture her, huffing as she led her to the meeting point. Upon arriving, Cyan immediately spotted the nasty, low-life Feixiong. She looked around and noticed every female had a partner. She thought to herself, I guess having no male makes me an outcast here. While thinking, a handsome wolf beast suddenly jumped in front of her. He'd noticed her the moment she arrived. The chief saw what was up and teased, Tyson, do you want to be Cyan's man? The young wolf blushed hard. Auntie, don't talk nonsense. The chief's face darkened. The whole tribe knows. You were rejected by Cyan. Tyson scratched his head awkwardly. Cyan was the only one who moved his heart. He wouldn't give up easily. The chief wanted to introduce him to Fat Xixing Xiong'ai. Just as he was about to ask, he turned and saw the kid was gone. The boy had already run to Cyan's side. Cyan looked at the wolf beast, confused. The young wolf stepped closer. Cyan instinctively backed away. What do you want? You don't remember me? I'm Tyson. You don't have a male, so the chief ordered me to protect you. The chief was baffled. I never gave that order. Cyan was skeptical. Was this some tribe rule she didn't know? The wolf beast got even closer. Cyan quickly dodged. Why are you getting so close? Seeing this, Feixiong was so pissed he bit his own fist. The female behind him added fuel to the fire. Xiongro, you actually can't compete with that ugly female. Look, our tribe's top warrior, Tyson, likes her but doesn't like you. Feixiong was seething. Ugly wench. Just you wait. Just. Then, Beiji darted out from the grass and dove into Cyan's arms, whispering in her ear, Mom, we found Big Brother. He wants revenge. He said he's going to burn down Xiongrou's cave. Cyan's heart sank. The sacred fire just went out, yet don't see his fire? She knew it was from home. But the tribe didn't. If he set that fire, her family would take the fall for extinguishing the sacred fire. She immediately took Beiji to find Don't See. She had to stop him, or the consequences would be dire. On the other side, Don't See held a torch, ready to light up Feixiong's cave. Xixing tried to stop him, but Don't See was determined. Xiongro ruined me. If I get my revenge, I don't care if I pay with my life. Xixing clenched his fists, tears blurring his eyes. In the beast world, being crippled meant being abandoned eventually. Why were his brothers so unlucky? Just as Don't See was, and cursed, telling her to take her 4 snake cubs and get the hell out of the tribe. The surrounding females chimed in, calling her a spy. A group of male beast men stepped forward to seize her, but Tyson the wolf beast immediately blocked their path. Seeing the man she desired protecting Cyan, Feixiong screamed for Cyan's exile. The crowd started to join the uproar. Watching this, Don't See felt a pang of guilt. It was his doing, so why was that evil woman taking the blame? Just as he was about to explain, Beiji pulled him back. Don't go, big brother. Mom must have a plan. Cyan gave a cold smile. If you kick me out, you'll never be able to relight the sacred fire. The chief hurriedly asked what she meant. Cyan claimed that if she could put out a fire, she could certainly start one. The chief was ecstatic. Cyan coughed. But if I leave, I won't be able to light it. Feixiong told the chief not to fall for her lies. But the chief was willing to try. As long as you can relight the sacred fire, no one can kick you out. Cyan felt a surge of satisfaction seeing Feixiong defeated. She set her terms. I'll light the sacred fire, but Xiongro must leave the Yinxiang tribe forever. Feixiong gritted her teeth so hard they clicked. Seeing the chief hesitate, Cyan turned to leave. The chief ran after her, begging for a different condition. Females were scarce and needed for reproduction. Cyan stopped, her plan working. She announced, by the great divine beast, even if the Yinxiang tribe won't meet my terms, I will still relight the fire. Only then did the chief realize he'd been played. Cyan turned to Tyson and praised him. Tyson, you're the tribe's top warrior. Can you help relight the sacred fire? The wolf beast beamed at the compliment and immediately agreed. Cyan told him to come closer and whispered the secret of making fire. Tyson's face turned beet red. Skeptically, he grabbed some dry grass and walked to the extinguished pit. Following Cyan's method, he placed the grass on the embers. Before long, the flames roared to life. Everyone was stunned. Cyan lit a torch and handed it to the chief. Cheers erupted. The Yinxiang tribe was saved. Only Feixiong and her cronies were seething with rage. Tyson gazed at Cyan, his eyes growing soft. She was so beautiful and smart. In this dangerous world, she didn't even have a male to protect her. He vowed to keep her safe. Back home, Don't See curled up in a corner. Cyan teased him. Where's that courage you had when you were burning down caves? Now that we're home, you're too scared to even look at me? Don't See covered his mouth, his eyes red. Cyan leaned in. What's wrong? Why are your eyes so red? None of your business. The little snake scurried under the covers, not wanting anyone to see him. So embarrassed. Just then, Beiji shouted that he was hungry, so Cyan turned to cook. By nightfall, Don't See still wouldn't come out from under the blanket. Cyan worried he'd suffocate or starve. She walked over slowly. Before Don't See could react, Cyan scooped him up. Come on, open up. Cyan had to personally feed the stubborn little guy. The headstrong snake couldn't help but open his mouth and start munching on the food. Cyan fed him. Mid-bite, he suddenly stopped, his eyes welling up. Tears streamed down his face. Struggling, he cried out. I don't want you to feed me, you evil woman. You're the worst woman in the world. Cyan didn't care and pulled him into a hug. No matter what, I'm still your mother. She kept stuffing food into his mouth anyway. Early the next morning, Cyan prepared to go hunting. The little snakes panicked. Hunting was a job for male beastmen. Was she going to abandon them? Cyan saw what they were thinking and rubbed their heads. Don't worry, Mom will be back tonight. As soon as she left, Shiqing grumbled, I knew. That evil woman was going to dump us again. Beiji murmured, big brother, second brother, third brother. If you want her to stay, you have to be a little nicer to her. Fat chance, Shiqing snapped. Among the four, only Beiji had fully accepted Cyan. Meanwhile, Cyan was picking numbness berries. These could be used to make anesthesia. On the way, she found some great stuff, giant snail shoots. That's dinner sorted. She went to check the traps she'd set earlier. Pulling back the grass, she saw she'd already caught something. Cyan smirked. Those four little guys were in for a treat. Soon, Cyan returned fully loaded. The little snakes had been waiting for her and rushed out to meet her. Seeing all that food, the little white snake was overjoyed. The little green snake pretended not to care. Cyan took the prey and wrapped it in snake scales. She couldn't help but admire how useful they were. Beiji yelled, Mom, when I grow up and become a purple gold beast man, I'll give you my scales too. Shiqing's jaw dropped. He cursed Beiji for being a shameless traitor. For S was secretly thrilled. Before long, Cyan finished making a small leather skirt. Beiji was a bit confused. Mom, isn't this a bit small? Cyan handed him the skirt. Go try it on and find out. Beiji never imagined the skirt was actually for him. Seeing this, Shiqing felt a pang of jealousy. Beiji looked incredibly sharp in his new outfit. Cyan rubbed his snake head and praised him repeatedly, as expected of. My boy, you look great. The little white snake blushed furiously. Suddenly, scales started popping up all over his body. The next second, with a bang, he shifted into his true form. Cyan was stunned. Beiji you. Shiqing thought, oh no. He knew Cyan was terrified of snakes. Cyan froze on the spot, hardly daring to move. Little Beiji looked at her with pure, innocent eyes. Cyan figured she had to get used to them. She decided to go for it, gently patting the snake's head. She asked which form he preferred. The little snake shyly narrowed his eyes and said he liked his snake form better. Cyan was so scared she nearly lost it. She tried to pump herself up. Don't be afraid. He's my boy. He's my son. The little snake coiled around her and whispered near her ear, I love you so much. Mom. He gave her a little peck on the cheek. Cyan instantly turned to stone and fainted with a thud. The little snake's eyes went wide. That night, Cyan boiled water for the little ones. Bath. Shiqing held the skirt Cyan gave her, which even had her name neatly embroidered on it. Her heart was racing. After Cyan prepped the water, she called Shiqing over for a scrub. The little green snake set down the skirt and stepped forward. The other two saw that Beiji and Don'tsi both had new skirts, feeling both envious and sad. Don'tsi bared his fangs and yelled that he wouldn't wash his hair. Cyan flinched. Shiqing realized her reaction was too much and whispered, I won't wash my hair. Okay, no hair wash. Just wipe his body. Cyan had to. After the bath, Shiqing looked like a brand new person, totally adorable. His face was flushed, feeling a strange excitement. He quickly shook his head. Shiqing, you can't forgive that evil woman. He looked at Cyan and suddenly wanted to turn into a snake, but feared scaring her. He figured if Beiji could do it, so could he. He zipped into his snake form and slithered in front of Cyan. When Cyan saw the little green snake, her face went pale with fright. Seeing her reaction, Shiqing turned away in disappointment and curled up in a corner to sleep. Cyan was stressed. Do my kids plan to stay in beast form forever? But since the kids loved being snakes, she just had to suck it up and adapt. Early next morning, Cyan excitedly headed out to hunt. After searching for ages, she found nothing. Just as she was about to turn back, a screech echoed from above. Her heart tightened, fearing a predatory beast. Looking up, she saw an eagle diving down. Cyan frowned. Sensing this eagle was even more dangerous than a white tiger, she immediately pulled her gun and fired. Bang, bang, bang. The bullets did absolutely nothing. Cyan broke into a cold sweat and pulled out her dagger. The eagle was thinking, I'm so handsome and powerful, but I actually scared her. His eyes flashed with mischief. He wanted to tease her more and flew toward her. Cyan didn't dare face him head on. She leaped up and grabbed a vine to distance herself, but the vine snapped. She fell straight down. The eagle saw this and dove to catch her. Cyan was confused as to why this eagle would save her. Once safely on the ground, she realized he was a beast man. He shook himself and transformed into a handsome man. He walked toward Cyan, leaning in with a smirk. Little female, I'm about to break through to purple gold status. How about you make me your man? The eagle beast was confident that Cyan would agree. Unexpectedly, Cyan refused. Sorry, I already have a man. He's the father of my 4 kids. The eagle beast was stunned, but instead of being disappointed, he got even more excited. Why? Are you saying sorry? Do you want me to be your primary mate? Cyan was totally lost. When she finally understood, she was shocked. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the bushes. The next second, a large gray wolf jumped out and yelled at the eagle. Birdman, our tribes. Female has already made her refusal clear. Stop pestering her. Cyan looked closely. It was her suitor, Tyson. Tyson told Cyan to hide. While he dealt with this narcissistic bird, he launched an attack. The shockwaves from their clash shook the very ground. Cyan was amazed. This power was even greater than top warriors in the apocalypse. She hid behind a tree and pulled her dagger, wanting to help Tyson, but as soon as she rushed out, a wild gust of wind made it impossible to see. The eagle snatched her by the waist and zoomed high into the air. Tyson roared from the ground, but was helpless. Cyan was